Every piece of content that has ever filled a gym falls within one of these 5 buckets. And by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly what each one does, which ones you've been beating to death, and which ones you should actually skip entirely. And if you appreciate me making this type of content, go ahead and gently tap that like button below. Let's get into it. So in one of my recent videos, I told you about the guy that's kind of picking which school to go to. He's about to start, but he goes on IG, checks out each of the school's profiles, and he's subconsciously thinking these 3 things. He's 1, does anybody there look like me? 2, what's the vibe of the place? How does it actually look? And 3, are these guys actually legit? Now, here's the thing, that these 5 pillars that we're going to be getting into in a second, they're actually answering all of his questions. And so if you miss one of these pillars, you miss one of these questions. So let's get into it with pillar number 1, which is going to be the education. And so this is going to be the widest net that you can throw and toss out there to get as many people and eyeballs onto your page. So this is going to be as broad as possible. Now, this content, it can be general, it can be broad, it can be mass appealing, right? Think about somebody who has never heard of jiu-jitsu in their life, and they scroll past somebody hitting a flying arm bar, they scroll past somebody getting choked out, they see somebody, they see a UFC clip of, some like the Patty Batty clip hitting that Darce, that Peruvian Darce choke, and then they see somebody else replicate and just show the technique. That's as super broad, as mass appealing as possible. That's the same thing here, right? So popular culture, but with your own spin on it, attached to your school, your brand. These education videos, right? This is going to be anything like technique videos, beginner concepts, what somebody should know before their first class. This is these guys know what they're talking about pillar. And the mistake here is just posting a bunch of random things, a bunch of random group class videos, things that have nothing to do with anything. You're just literally just posting a video just to post it. Pillar number 2, as we're going down towards the middle of the funnel, right? We're still in top of funnel, right? It can be top of funnel, middle of funnel. But as we go into the middle of funnel, pillar number 2 is going to be the culture and community of your place. So think about this as like the vibe of your school. This is where people get familiar with you, your school, your students, and what it actually feels like to be a student there, right? They get that POV of being a student at your gym, kind of like they're just a fly on the wall. Now, the important thing about this pillar is that people are subconsciously looking for themselves inside of your content when they're watching this type of stuff, especially when they're going into a new place. Like, for example, I went to a new gym and I noticed that I was the only darker-ish colored person there. And at first I was like, this is interesting. And then, it was easy. I was like, whatever. But when I was watching the content before, again, I went on the page. I went to go check out the vibe of the place. I went to go check out the members there. And I was like, all right, this is cool. It looks nice. They have very nice equipment, right? They have cool amenities. But I noticed, there was nobody that looked like me there. But I didn't really care. I was like, you know what? This is a nice place. I enjoy nice things. I'm going to go ahead and sign up anyways. And so one of the first things I noticed when I signed up, though, I was like, okay, I guess, yeah, this is pretty much I'm one of the more darker people there, which is fine. It's no problem at all. But it's just one of the things subconsciously. I was like, that's interesting. I thought about that. So imagine people think about that when they're going to somewhere new, and especially somewhere a little bit more intimidating like a jiu-jitsu gym or a martial arts gym. That's what they're thinking about. So they're looking for themselves inside of your content. And so before they're ever walking in, right, they're scanning for somebody who looks like them, they move like them, they're pretty much the same age as them, right? They don't want to be going in there, they only see a bunch of kids, they don't want to see any adults, right? Or if they're a parent, they were saying, hey, I don't see any kids classes, so obviously I'm not going to go here. So they want to think is, I can see myself here, right? That's what I want them to think. Like, I can see myself, this is something I can be a part of. So content for this can be, think of open mats, think of what class actually feels like, fun questions to ask your students on camera, right? Post mat chats, hanging out. This is not just random stuff, because now we're moving with more intention. Now we can actually say, hey, we're getting this content intentionally to show off the vibe of the place, instead of just posting a bunch of random videos that have nothing to do with anything, with no direction, posting it out there just for fun. You want to also imagine here, like, show off your physical space, like make it intertwine your content with showing off different parts of your space. If you have a recovery room, if you have a sauna, a cold plunge, if you're gonna have a weight room, right? The different mat areas, the upstairs, the downstairs, the lounge area, the showers, the locker rooms, all that stuff, right? Find a way to actually show that within the content, because people look for that, people see that, and that might be the thing that pushes somebody over the edge like it does for me. If I see some nice stuff, I'm like, oh, wow, this place has great amenities. This place actually has showers, right? If a gym has no showers, bro, I am not going there, okay? But if a gym's got showers, it's a plus, right? Everybody's like, okay, this is actually nice to have. Now they see themselves going there even more. The mistake here is just showing the training and not showing the environment and showing the place, right? Especially if you have a very cool gym, go ahead and show that off, man. You worked hard for that. You go ahead and flex it, right, a little bit, but in a way that gets people enticed and people want to come in and be like, oh man, I actually want to go and check that place out. It looks really nice. You want people to feel welcome, and you want them to feel like they're part of the community. You want them to be like, okay, this is actually a pretty cool place, right? They're having fun. They're making jokes. Don't post a bunch of inside jokes that nobody has any context to. Now, going down to the authority, going down the funnel, right? Going down more middle funnel, lower funnel, the authority / founder type of content. This is going to be you on camera, right? This is going to be your story, your philosophy, your take, your perspective on all things martial arts, maybe on and off the mats, whatever it is, right? This is not just about your background, right? It's about how you think, how you develop concepts, how you think through things, what your perspective is on training, on recovery, all the stuff that makes you uniquely you. This is where you would go ahead and show that off. This is where you would say, hey, this is what gets people bought into you. If there's an aspect of personal brand, it would be right here under the authority / founder type of pillar. And with this one, it's not going to be like, hey, my favorite color is blue. It could be, right? But it's stuff that has to do with actually stuff within your school, right? It's why you're a no-gi only school, why you're an ecological school, right? All that stuff is interesting because people want to have an understanding of, hey, like, this is what I'm buying into. If you go to a 10th planet and you're like, man, why don't these guys train in the gi? And you don't have any understanding of that, but there's a video of you explaining why and explaining the philosophy and the methodology behind the 10th planet no-gi system, then from there that adds more value to the person watching it. And that way somebody that is looking for that type of environment can get their question answered very clearly, or at least can get that cleared out the way so they have a better understanding. And so this is going to be another thing, like an example could be like why you don't let beginners spar on day one, right? This is the type of content, right? Because people want to know, right? People want to know, who am I actually learning from? Who is this guy? Why is he qualified to teach me? And what can I learn from him versus the guy down the street? This is what makes you guys a little bit more unique, right? Whose school am I walking into? Whose philosophy am I adopting when I train there, right? This is the I trust this guy type of pillar. And this is the pillar that almost everybody skips because being on camera can be uncomfortable for some people. And this is what I want to talk to you directly. Me sitting across from you right now, if you are somebody who's a little bit more shy on camera or doesn't like to hear the sound of their voice, there's a few things here, right? Maybe it's imposter syndrome. Maybe it's, you're worried that you'll say something that people might disagree with, or that your students might see you in a different light. Maybe it's simpler than that, right? Maybe it's just, on the mats, you're an orator, but when you can talk all day, but the second that you have a camera pointed in your face, you mess up your lines and you stutter, and like it gets frustrating. I get it. It's a skill just like anything else. But if you are on that side of the fence, then my honest answer to you is just rip the Band-Aid off, man. Just go in it. There's no other way to do it except to just do it, right? Again, imagine you're talking to somebody who's going to be training jiu-jitsu and they're thinking about all these things, like, what if I get this? What if I get injured? What if I get a mat burn, right? What if I can't breathe? What if it's too hard? What if at some point, you just tell them, bro, literally just jump on the mats. Like, the best way to do it is just to do it. So for you, if you are on that side where you are a little bit more reserved, you are a little bit more shy, maybe more monotone, maybe you're not the most charismatic person off the mat, and especially not in front of the camera, then what I would tell you is just do your best. That's it. Just do your best. Have somebody that can bring that out of you. If you don't have anybody, it's just you, and it's just you and a phone and a tripod, then just do your best. Take multiple takes, do multiple takes, try multiple lines, and over time, like I guarantee you, over time, as you go from day 1 to day 100, you're not going to be the same person. You're going to be a completely different person, a completely different communicator, and it's going to show on your school and your brand as well. And it's going to be a completely different vibe as well. There's something special inside your gym, and nobody's ever going to see that or notice it unless they walk through your door and experience it. And the best way to do that is to show them that. to show them that with this pillar, with this content. And this pillar right here, this is your one chance to actually give a stranger that experience before they ever get to walk in. That's how important this is, right? But if you're truly not ready, I understand. I'm gonna go ahead and just give you a little baby step of how to get into it step by step, right? So have somebody at the very least, right? Like if you're still not comfortable, the easiest way to do this is have somebody put a clip-on mic on you, right? Get a clip-on mic. We'll talk about gear here in a second, but get a microphone, a wireless microphone, clip it onto you, put a magnet, whatever it is, get a microphone on you, and just film your class. Start out with just filming your class. This way, there's no you looking at the camera, right? You're not shy or anything, because you just go out there and you do your thing. You do your thing, because I'm sure that when you explain your techniques, when you actually go out there and teach the classes, you teach an amazing class, you provide value, people enjoy it, people have fun. And so that's the easy way to do it. You don't even have to look at the camera at all. It could be as simple as like somebody's just a fly in the wall. You could have a phone on a tripod if it really comes down to that. But best case, you have somebody filming you. You don't even look at the camera. You're just talking to the students. And just from you talking, from answering questions, from, making the small adjustments, that's the golden nuggets. That's where people start to see you in your real light, and they start to see, okay, wow, this guy's actually legit, right? That's going to be option one. Option two, right, is it doesn't have to be you at all, right? Maybe you've got a purple belt, maybe you got a brown belt, maybe a coach, maybe even, your front desk person, right? It could be somebody who is like, think of the person that right now is on the mats with you, that you're thinking like, man, this guy's charismatic. You put anything in front of him, he is just always high energy, upbeat, always down, loves to be in front of the camera, loves to have the attention, which is fine. That's the type of person that you might want to consider to have help you with this content, because that's gonna, again, it's gonna translate through the camera. Again, imagine if I was talking like this whole time, and as you can talk to me here, you can see that it's very boring, and I might catch my breath or two, and I think, but no, that's not how I talk. This is actually how I talk. I'm talking to you as if you were literally like across from me, as if you were standing right in front of me and we were having a conversation. Sometimes I go high, sometimes I get high energy, sometimes I go on a rant, but this is me, this is genuine, this is authentic. So have somebody who's able to capture that and translate that through the content itself, right? Because whoever it is, right, it's really just about transferring that feeling of what it's like to train at your gym, right? Somebody has to carry that energy through the camera, and it does not have to be you if you don't want it to, just so you know, okay? So that's authority/founder. Now, as we get into the bottom of funnel, right? Bottom of funnel, we're going to go ahead and get into the proof/transformation. This is the what we do actually works type of pillar. Okay, this is going to be, think about student results, before and afters, people getting promoted, somebody earning their next belt, right? Interviews with students about what changed for them. If you're running something like the 6-week program that I teach in a different course, right? The before and after at the end of that program is the single strongest piece of content for your school and credibility for what you actually do, right? Now, here's the thing. This is the biggest mistake that I see here, right? Just posting a bunch of graphic design images, posting a bunch of stories like, hey, how do you like the gym? Good. Would you recommend it to somebody? Yes, right? That's not getting the student, that's not capturing the student's essence. That's not capturing their transformation and their journey with you. And neither is just a bunch of pictures of, or like, competition pictures or competition footage. That tells, that's cool to show for sure. Post that, but that's not what this is. And school owners think that when they're posting that type of stuff, they're thinking, hey, like I'm going to show that, my students win, that I have good students, that I teach good jujitsu, that if they come with me, they're going to go ahead and be able to compete. But think about it, like your adult beginner, they don't even know what that is. That seems way more intimidating than just starting out jujitsu, going into competition. So they don't compete, right? And they don't see themselves on the podium yet. This is going to be like, he needs to see the guy who couldn't get through a round without gassing out 6 months later. He needs to see the person that was fat and then through the 6 weeks lost weight, continued to train, went into his first competition. That story, that's what they need to see in the proof/transformation. And this is going to be bottom of funnel, because nobody at the top of funnel, right? Like if I were to see a transformation from somebody's school that did this, honestly, I don't care, right? Like, yeah, you might like it because you train jujitsu and you admire the transformation, but it's not something that I could show just like a random person and they can be like, wow, that's cool, right? Like they might admire, hey, like, respect, but it's not like as cool as like, somebody getting knocked out with a flashy knockout. Like everybody can that's more relatable, right? This is not as relatable. This is gonna be for somebody that's kind of looking through that stuff and like, wow, they see the 6-week program. Man, these guys are legit. Man, I've been thinking about getting in shape for jujitsu. Man, I've been wanting to get in shape through something else instead of just going to the gym. This is gonna be that type of content, okay? Now, as we get to the bottom of the funnel, this is going to be our ask pillar, right? Or ask slash promo, right? This is going to be the actual ask that we do at the bottom of the funnel, the call to actions. This is where we're going to be heavy on it. And I'll get into a second here of how we space it out. So this is going to be the book a class, join the program. Here's what we're offering. Here's how you start. Here's how to get your trial class, whatever it is, right? This is the bottom of the funnel where we're actually pushing somebody to take that first step with us and become a student, right? Now we're actually asking, okay, so here's the best way to make a promo not feel like an ad, right? And this doesn't necessarily, it can be an ad that you film directly with intention of using it for paid traffic. It could be part of that too. But it could also be as part of your organic strategy, just a good piece of content with a good call to action at the end that drives people to do something. And so the whole video should get somebody excited before you ever ask for anything, right? So a good bottom of funnel organic piece of content is going to be something that provides value on the front end. And then at the very end, they've gotten so much value from that piece of content, that whatever it is, that at the end you ask them to follow you, to send this to somebody, to book their class. They're so moved by that content that they just saw that they're willing to go ahead and return the favor of doing what you asked them to. And so by the time they hit the end, right, they should be thinking like, wow, that was cool. That's something I can see myself doing. That made me feel more comfortable. That made me feel like I could actually walk in there and be a part of them. So if you did everything correctly, right, you handled the objection that they were carrying, and then you ask. That's what we're doing here. This is really just a way to handle all of their objections with content that we show them, that we put in front of them, so that by the time that we decide to ask them to do something, which is come in and sign up or come in and try it out, all their questions and objections have been answered. And so the next logical thing for them to do is, okay, you know what? I'm going to take that step. I'm going to go ahead and do what they're telling me to do, right? That's it. That's the whole thing, right? So it's something like, if you're nervous about your first class, here's exactly what we do to make sure you have a great experience, right? Comment the word trial below and I'll get you booked, right? Hey, you ever wondered what it looks like? Here's what it looks like for your first class at XYZ Jiu-Jitsu. Hey, here's POV of a class, your first day at this place Jiu-Jitsu. Take them through the whole thing, right? You show them, hey, you're going to change here. You get this loaner gi, right? This and that. You get in class. Just the overall good experience. After that, then you say, go ahead, book down below if you want to do this for yourself, or hey, go ahead, CTA, whatever it is, right? That's it. It doesn't have to feel like it's not directly like a direct response ad. You're not saying like, hey, Chicago, we're looking for 16, men who want to do XYZ with this offer. No, it's just good old content with a call to action at the end. Really, if you do this well, if you execute this well, it's you taught them something, you helped them, and now you're asking for something back. That's the exchange, right? It's not a pitch, it's more like an exchange. And the other half of this is scarcity, like real scarcity, right? So you're not asking in every single post. You don't want to notice how it's at the bottom of the funnel, and at the bottom of the funnel, it gets narrow and narrow. And that's because the good rule of thumb that I like to do is just do a call to action 10% of the time, right? Every 10 posts, to make it simple, every 10 posts, one of them asks for something, right? If you're posting one video a day, that's 3 asks out of the 30 videos in 1 month. And then from there, you can find your threshold, but I wouldn't go more than 20%. Keep the asks rare, because then from there, they can land as authentic instead of desperate, instead of just, every single video, just hey, do this, do this, do this, right? Hey, book your class, book your class, book your class. And you want them to have an experience when they're engaging with you on Instagram or on social media. Whenever they're coming across your content, You want them to be like, this, I know for sure I'm going to get something out of this. And then every now and then, like, hey, go ahead and do this, right? Oh, yeah, for sure. I like these guys, or maybe you think about, they keep popping up in your feed. You've been thinking about wanting to try it out. All right, you know what? Now's the day. I've developed a sense of relationship with them. Now's the day I'm going to go ahead and book my trial class with them. Okay. And so this is actually like what's kind of going on in their head. Like they're not thinking this exact process, but subconsciously, right? Just over getting to know somebody over time and seeing the same people again and again, seeing the same space, especially if it's something that you've been thinking about, this just naturally this is just content marketing at its finest here. Okay. And so the promo, the ask, right? This only converts though, because the other 4 pillars earned you the right to ask. So because you've developed the trust from the top of the funnel, because you've given them value at the top, showing them your culture, the community, showing them that, who you are, what your perspective is, showing them people actually getting results that they want to get. Now at the end, all you got to say, hey man, if you want to go ahead and do the same thing, if you've been thinking about this, go ahead and you know what to do, right? Book down below or whatever you want them to do. And so here's the test that I actually want you to use. Send me any reel from any school that perform well, right? From your favorite school, your favorite IG content, your favorite account, send me their video that perform well. And the first thing I'm going to ask you is, what pillar does this fall under? It will always fall under one of these 5 right here. Okay. And if you can't name the pillar, well, there's your answer, right? That there wasn't a strategy behind it, because the school is posting that AI slop, the group class photos, random pictures of their dog, right? Yes, people post. Sometimes people use their schools as their personal account, and like that's just not good, right? No one cares about your dog or even like your family at that point, right? Like this is not for them, right? Like if I don't want to see that stuff, I want to see like stuff with the actual gym, of the content of the community in there, right? That's what people are going there for, right? Imagine you went on Google Maps, you looked at a restaurant, there's pictures of people like posing in front of the restaurant. I don't care about that. I'm looking for the food. Let me see how good the food is. This is strategy, right? That stuff, that's not strategy. That's just posting stuff. Now, let me show you how these 5 stack, because they're not interchangeable, right? Education sits at the top of the funnel. That's your reach. This is going to be strangers who've never heard of you. Culture and community, right? This is sitting in the middle. Now we're getting into the middle of the funnel. And this is going to be the trust and fit, right? This is going to be the, do I belong here? Do I trust this guy? Do I see myself there, right? What's the vibe of the place? Authority/founder, same thing, going to the culture and the community. And then the proof and the promo, this is going to be sitting at the bottom of the funnel, where this is the decision now, right? This is the, will this work for me? Does this work for other people? Do I see this working for myself? And how do I start, right? Each of these one produces a different signal. And this is where owners get it wrong, right? Like your education content, this is going to be getting the most views. And that's cool, right? But we don't want to get caught up in vanity metrics as far as like getting a bunch of views or likes or whatever, right? Each of these is going to provide you a different signal. It might give a little bit more sends. Some people might have a little bit more shares, more saves, right? Especially if you're doing more like a technique, right? A lot of people will save that because they want to save it for later, especially if it's a cool technique. If it's a funny thing, if it goes viral, people might send that to somebody else. So that might give you a lot of shares. And so really those signals, that type of those KPIs that you can be hitting, those are going to be what you're going to be figuring out, right? It might differ from school to school, from your account to a different account. But as you start to see, okay, over a course of a month, 2 months, 3 months, you can start to see, whenever I make this type of post, historically, based off the data, it gets me this response. So if I want this response, I'm going to go ahead and make this type of post. For example, if you know for sure every time you make an ask post, somebody you can measure it, right? There's actual measurable data now. At least 3 people booked their class. And for every 3 of those people, 1 of them signs up. You know that if you want to get 3 people signed up, you got to post 3 more of those asks. So this is how you start to actually generate a strategy behind organic content instead of just posting for the sake of posting stuff. That's gonna be the number 1 theme when it comes to this. Now, here's the thing that I want you to do. Watching this video here, right? So go ahead, open up your own profile, label your last 12 posts, right? Just tag one with each of the pillars. And I'll tell you what I find the most, right? Every single time when I audit a school's page is the owners who are being intentional with this process, they're already at the head of the ones that are posting nothing. But even those guys are still beating one horse to death. And it's pretty much always dead on the wall of culture and founder content, right? Group class photos, class videos, random clips of people rolling after class, Coach showing a technique, asking people how was class today, sticking a phone in their face, people looking uncomfortable, right? Like stories, it's the same thing over and over again. You can watch their content from a year ago to today, and it's literally the same thing. It's like a day never changed. It's better than posting nothing for sure, right? But they're skipping the strategy, they're skipping the education, the proof, the ask, the call to actions entirely, and they're expecting they're expecting that people are just gonna watch that, see the content, and decide to walk in the gym. Right. Sure, you might get, some people like that. Some people, some school owners that I talk to have definitely grown like that, but they're just spraying and praying. There's no intention. There's no strategy behind that. Right. That's not strategy. Again, every one of these pillars is intentional. Every one of these is by design. And so now, the 5 buckets, the 5 pillars. But what I want to show you is actually show you different examples right here as we're going from top of funnel all the way to the bottom funnel. So you know exactly what this looks like and what you can start to mirror exactly. So for education, this is one of my favorites. This is a very good piece of content here. It's literally as simple as this: viral technique, and then you copy it, make your own style, and look at this, look at these signals right here, right? Same thing over here. This is a funny one. You think you can take somebody down?
Yeah, I think so.
Can you show me a takedown?
Yeah.
Do you think this guy can take you down?
I sure hope.
So that's a trend. If you are, we'll get into trends here in a second, but this is a trend. And again, this is just education / culture community. This is more top of funnel, right? Because we're showing off the space, we're showing off the vibe, the students, people seeing what they would normally act like, and we're wrapping it in a funny trend that's popular right now. It's not going to always be popular, but it's popular right now. So we're riding that wave. This is more of an original content, right? Things, education, things that people would want to see, things that people want to share as well. Things I know as a brown belt that I wish I knew as a white belt. Part 1. It's okay to practice your technique. Things like that, right? Just a hug, and then just value, just providing value to somebody who's newer, or even to students, right? Just some form of value. Again, the wrapper is just in the trend that is created. Now, as we go down closer to the middle of funnel, we're getting into authority / founder, right? Here we have more of a community aspect where the students that do compete, if you have a videographer, if you go out there and get some clips, making a nice clip of it.
I had so much support leading up to it. I won one of my matches, which I was really happy about. Decided to keep working, and I always recommend that all of you guys try competing.
So there we go. That's kind of like a case study, a little testimonial type of video. Just somebody showing off their wins. Like, hey, they went ahead and they pushed themselves. They did this. They got the result. And a lot of people are now in the community, they're gonna be like, wow, hey man, great job. Or hey, people see that like, wow, this guy did this through your help, right? Here, this is more authority founder. Again, this is like post-match chats where somebody literally just put a mic on yourself and just let it rip, right? Let the golden nuggets come out of you.
You keep your flow state when your mind is preoccupied with things that it has direct control over. If your mind.
So that one was literally just the owner of the school, just dropping knowledge. And even then, that was like terrible audio, but with the caption itself, it still did well enough because of just the substance of the content. Okay, here, this is a testimonial, more bottom of funnel type of content.
To go to jiu-jitsu today, but like, you're right. I am Anthony Velasquez. She'll be like, hey, don't you have to go to jiu-jitsu today? But like, you're right.
The idea, it's just a testimonial from there. Here's another testimonial.
Ways in which training down here at the Loop has made.
Here, just explaining his story, just his change, his experience at the school. Here, I'm not going to watch this entire video, but basically this video is what I talked about as far as just like providing value in the front end. And then at the very end of that, asking for a call to action, showing people here, we push people to go ahead and book a trial by DMing us the word trial below, and then attaching a mini chat sequence to that. And so those are examples of what you can look like as far as from education, going on a culture community, to authority, founder, proof, the bottom of the funnel. These are all examples. It does not have to be anything crazy. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about here is just formats and packaging, right? This is going to be the wrapper, right? As far as like, if you post a green screen video, a talking head video, that's just the wrapper of it, right? That's not any of these. any of these videos can be in any of these pillars, right? So you can post a green screen video that's a call to action. You can post a green screen video that's education. The way that you film the video and the format of it, right? This is just how people are viewing it and experiencing it. So don't get too caught up in like, I have to only do, technique videos, demonstration videos, whiteboard videos. I just want to show you some examples so you know exactly what each of these look like, and you'll get an understanding. Oh, okay, now I have a better understanding of how it works. So this is a green screen video. So I've been octopusing my boys for the past few weeks here. Now pause before you say anything about that. So there you go, just me, green screen, put some clips on it. I'm just doing a voiceover talking about some stuff. Here's a yap video, right? So I'm pretty sure you've seen more of these, right? More like talking head, yapping type of content where you literally just stick the phone somewhere and you just start to rant or whatever you say. What does it mean to have conviction? Especially in that video, I was just talking about sales conviction and just ranting, right? Going on a yap about that stuff. Here, this is more of a technique demonstration video where I just show a technique that I like. Even if he does like have flexible shoulders, I can bring this one over, and then I can really. Once we're north-south, we come into. There's a technique video, right? It could be as simple as that. Literally just put a mic on somebody doing the class, showing the technique of the day. Boom, there's your content for the day. Here, this is going to be more of a trendy type of format where we're actually providing value and then having a call to action at the end. Offering free trials is good. Offering paid trials is better. Offering results-based programs are. So that's the trend, doing good, better, excellent. And then at the very end, I do a call to action, say, follow me if you want to learn more value, blah, blah, blah. And then a bunch of people follow me from there. And then maybe you've even met me from there. So here we have let's see if this one loads. This is more of a whiteboard video where I was doing a training and I just had a whiteboard with me, and now it's a little bit more engaging, more interactive, because you can see that there's an audience, that I'm actually providing value. You can just shove it in everywhere. Pause. But it is about asking just a series of questions. That's still content. And then this one is going to be talking head. And I hate to break it to you, you're not making it to black belt. And that is the difference between being hurt versus being injured. So that one was just straight up just talking head. That's going to be a regular talking head / video. And again, these are all just examples of what it can look like for yourself, right? It's actually what people are doing right now. So if you go ahead and find any of your favorite creators, they're going to fall within one of these 5 buckets. Okay, there you go. There you have it. This is the video. It was a little bit long, but super important, because after watching this video, you're going to have an understanding of exactly where you're at, where you fall, and what pillars you're missing. That's all I got for you. Peace.